You usually don't really see dudes be able to slip out of the handcuffs like that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Almost 5 years after his tragic passing in Atlanta, Davon Daquan Bennett, better known as King Von, still has his name echoing through the rap game. Even in 2025, new tracks from the Chicago rapper kept dropping, keeping his legacy alive and his story in the spotlight. But it wasn't just his music that kept people talking. His personal life became the center of public attention after serious allegations started surfacing. Vaughn was rumored to be connected to several violent street conflicts in Chicago, which sparked endless debates online. Some even labeled him with extreme titles because of the stories that circulated about him. It's no secret that many people in the industry, even other rappers, had a certain fear or respect for his name. But what made King Von so intimidating to his peers? Number one, his powerful connections. Vaughn wasn't moving solo. He had a tight crew that carried real influence in both music and the streets. There's a saying, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And in Vaughn's case, his circle spoke volumes. He was close with major names like Lil Durk and his childhood friend, James Johnson, better known as T-Roy.
T-Roy, you ain't gotta be scared of him if you one of the guys, you know what I'm saying? But if you on that other side, you should be terrified of him. Like terrified of him, and for good reason.
Standing at just about 5'1", T-Roy was small in size, but had a huge reputation within his neighborhood of O Block, linked with the Black Disciples. He wasn't widely known while he was alive, but after his death, his name became legendary through stories told in tracks and interviews. People who knew him personally described him as loyal, fearless, and always ready to stand by his crew. And that energy made the people around him, including King Von, seem untouchable. T-Roy's name carries so much weight in the streets that rumors started spreading that he was Chief Keef's personal protector. Chief Keef even fueled that talk by dropping T-Roy's name in his tracks, making fans believe there was some real truth behind it. In one song, No Reason, Keef raps, I'm coolin' in the trap, getting high for no reason. T-Roy grabbed my strap, he gon' blast for no reason. That line had people buzzing non-stop. And it didn't stop there. In another track, Savage, Keef drops another wild bar.
Me, T-Roy, all us, Von, we used to be in cahoots. Yeah, used to have guns, but we just used to have it so that the big guys wouldn't call us pussy. It's just like when you grew up in the hood and it's like, you ain't getting no pussy, you ain't no nothing, you a lame, you a goofy, so niggas finna do what? We finna try to fucking do all this. We might not even want it, but like we finna try to open ourselves up to it so niggas can't talk about us.
T-Roy, he got the semi, he'll send your ops to heaven. Then in his song Self, he raps, don't care if you with them or by yourself. T-Roy got a gun that's bigger than him. With likes like that, the streets started seeing T-Roy as a legend, someone not to mess with. After T-Roy's death, people who once ran with him couldn't stop talking about how fearless he was. Rapper Boss Top called him a savage in the streets, saying he never backed down from a challenge. Another Chicago rapper, Tay Capone, shared that T-Roy lived a fast life, all about hustling, eating, sleeping, and always watching out for those who might try to test him. According to Tay,
I was like a pest. I remember her riding on the bike, taunting us, and nigga, we trying to chase her back on the block, but she get out of that skirt on the bike, she gone. And she was somebody that we hated.
Even the people who opposed him were scared to cross his path. But how did young T-Roy become one of the most feared figures from O Block? There are a few theories floating around. Some say his tough attitude came from how much he was teased growing up for being short. He stood around 5'1", and that made him an easy target for jokes and bullying back in school. But instead of letting it break him, he turned that frustration into confidence. Determined to prove he wasn't someone to mess with, he started carrying himself with strength, and soon his reputation grew beyond his size. People saw that T-Roy wasn't about to be underestimated anymore. He made sure everyone around him knew he could hold his own. But according to one of T-Roy's childhood friends, there was something much deeper behind the change in James Johnson's life. Former O Block member Jay Hood opened up about what really shaped T-Roy's mindset, saying it all started after he witnessed something truly heartbreaking. On August 10th, 2011, around 11 p.m.,
it's probably a little nigga syndrome. You growing up with shit. Everybody thinking you 10 years old. Probably got to a point where he was tired of thinking because he little as chicken.
A tragedy hit Chicago's South Side. Popular figure Odie Perry, a respected member of Wick City, was riding his bike down the 6400 block of South Martin Luther King Drive. The night was calm, the streets were quiet, and then everything changed in a flash. Multiple witnesses later shared that as Odie passed near an AutoZone, someone with dreadlocks quietly approached him. Before anyone could react, the piece of the block was shattered by fire guns. Two individuals were seen running from the scene, jumping into a car that sped off into the night. The attack left Odie critically wounded on the street as people nearby scrambled for help. T-Roy, who was just a teenager at the time, ran to his friend's side and held him, trying to comfort him while waiting for an ambulance. According to J. Hood, Odie's final words to T-Roy were, "They got me, bro." That moment stuck with him forever. It was a turning point that changed everything. Odie Perry wasn't just another name in the neighborhood. He was loved and respected by almost everyone in Parkway Gardens. His passing hit the community hard. It was something they had never experienced before on that level. In honor of him, the Wick City crew renamed their section
One of the first deaths that was from the ops. When you one of the first to die, man, it hit harder.
O Block, a tribute to the one they lost too soon. When his funeral took place, the turnout was massive. People from all over the city came to show love and pay their respects. The loss of Odie Perry sent shockwaves through the entire community. His passing deeply affected many people, but no one took it harder than T. Roy, the young man who heard Odie's final words that night. Witnessing someone he admired so much in that heartbreaking moment completely changed him. At first, he was frozen in disbelief. Seeing a neighborhood icon lying wounded shook him to his core. Then came the sadness, realizing that someone he looked up to was gone forever. But soon, that pain turned into determination. Something inside him shifted. Maybe it was being there in that moment, hearing Odie's last words, or maybe it was the heartbreak of losing someone so close. Whatever it was, it left a lasting mark on him. J. Hood later explained that the entire experience deeply affected T. Roy and likely left him traumatized. One thing was clear, Odie's passing pushed him to take on the weight his friend left behind. Odie had been a major figure in the neighborhood, and after he was gone, T. Roy made it his mission to keep that legacy alive. What's important to understand is that before Odie's death, T. Roy wasn't known for being caught up in any heavy street conflicts. He did have access to weapons, but according to J. Hood, it was more about image and pressure than real intent to use them. The older guys in the area often teased the younger ones, pushing them to act tougher just to earn respect or fit in. After Odie's death, everything shifted, and T. Roy's whole attitude towards the streets changed dramatically. He became more aggressive, determined to make a name for himself, and wasn't afraid to show it. He even started using social media to send bold messages, letting people know he wasn't someone to mess with and that he was always ready to defend his side.
And then Vaughn walked up to me, and I shook his hand. He like, look straight. And then I look straight, and I'm like, why? Why you telling me to look straight? He like, look straight, and what I'm finna say to you, don't look at me after I tell you.
T. Roy's name started getting attached to serious street rumors, with people claiming he was connected to several rival incidents involving well-known names like Borstrell and Lil Doc. One event that really grabbed attention happened on January 8, 2013. On that day, T. Roy and 3 others, including King Von, were reportedly riding around in a Chevrolet Impala through an area known to be rival territory. They were said to be looking for someone who had caused tension with their group. Around 63rd and St. Lawrence, they came across Marlon Monroe, better known as Lil Doc. According to reports, Lil Doc had just finished a long day working and was helping paint his aunt's building in Woodlawn. After wrapping up, he decided to grab a drink from a nearby store. Just an ordinary move that turned into tragedy. As he headed inside, witnesses say a man stepped out of the Impala and started firing shots in his direction. Lil Doc tried to escape, running toward an open lot, but he was struck and collapsed in a patch of tall grass near the store. Police arrived quickly, investigating the scene and clearing the area. But somehow, in the chaos, they didn't notice where he had fallen. Hours later, his body was found in the lot, turning the quiet neighborhood into a crime scene that left everyone in shock. A few hours later, a 16-year-old relative rushing home before curfew cut through the empty lot and stumbled upon a heartbreaking sight. There, on the 6300 block of South St. Lawrence Avenue,
Man, what I know is, on my dead Vaughn didn't kill Kai. I got shot too. I was right there. I got shot too. I saw the motherfucker who popped us. He did.
Lay the body of 21-year-old Lil Doc. It was a devastating discovery that sent waves through the community. Reports later revealed that Lil Doc had only been out of prison for 2 months and was on parole after serving time for a car theft charge. But he wasn't the same person anymore. He was genuinely trying to turn his life around. He had earned his GED while locked up, was studying to get his painter's license, and had even started doing maintenance work on properties owned by his aunt. Friends and family said he wanted a fresh start, to leave the chaos behind and build something better for himself. But the violence in Chicago's street scene didn't stop for anyone. Not long after that, another life was lost. This time the victim was a well-known figure named Boss Trell. He was reportedly targeted because of a long-standing conflict involving the death of Sheroy Liggins. Police found Liggins on the 2200 block of East 99th Street, lying on the pavement with a serious head injury from a single bullet. He was rushed to Sugar Hospital in critical condition, but despite medical efforts, he sadly passed away a few hours later. What makes this story even more tragic is that Boss Trell had been trying to escape the dangerous cycle he was caught in. He knew the streets were becoming too hot, and had told friends he wanted to leave Chicago for good, to start over somewhere safer. People close to him said he often admitted that living that kind of lifestyle only led to 2 outcomes, jail or death, and he wanted neither. In the weeks leading up to his passing, Trell had already survived multiple attempts on his life. First, members linked to O Block 600 reportedly opened fire on him. Then, on separate occasions, he was targeted again, this time said to be by King Von and Big A. Boss Trell had finally made up his mind. He was leaving Chicago for good. He bought a bus ticket to Iowa, hoping to start a clean, peaceful life far from the chaos that had surrounded him for years. According to the ticket, he was supposed to leave the city on November 10th. Just a few days before his departure, he even posted on Twitter, "Can't wait till I get my new start," expressing how excited he was to turn his life around. Sadly, that one tweet ended up being his downfall. By posting his plans publicly, he unknowingly alerted people who didn't want him to make that move. Word spread fast, and those who saw him as an enemy reportedly started plotting to stop him before he could leave the city for good. Rumors later claimed that T-Roy and his crew set up a plan involving a young woman to get Trell to come out of hiding. The woman allegedly arranged to meet him the next day at a certain spot. Believing it was simply a meetup, Trell showed up alone.
T-Roy was right there with him his last little moments, and T-Roy and then T-Roy said that, oh, like, damn, they got me, bro. Like, that was his last word.
But when he got there, the girl was nowhere to be seen. That's when things took a dark turn. A car reportedly pulled up nearby, moving slowly and suspiciously. It hit him that something wasn't right, and he began to run, but it was too late. Witnesses say shots were fired as he tried to escape, and he ended up collapsing in a patch of tall grass near the store. Police arrived quickly, investigating the scene and clearing the area. But somehow, in the chaos, they didn't notice where he had fallen. Hours later, his body was found in the lot, turning the quiet neighborhood into a crime scene that left everyone in shock. Boss Trell believed he could finally slip away from the chaos, but fate had other plans. After his death, one tweet chillingly read, he thought he could run from the game, but guess who he ran into? Sadly, just a few years later, T-Roy would meet a similar fate, taken out by the same kind of street violence he had grown up around. On Valentine's Day in 2017, T-Roy and a close friend were walking through the 2000 block of East 71st Street in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood. The pair seemed relaxed, unaware that 2 rivals, TB and Can't Get Right, were reportedly nearby, tracking their every move. Surveillance footage later showed TB and his associates slowly scanning the block, looking for their targets. Meanwhile, T-Roy and his friend entered a small store on 71st Street. Inside, he was seen on camera walking through one of the aisles, casually talking with his friend, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Moments later, the footage showed TB and Can't Get Right entering the store and heading straight towards them. TB appeared to have one hand tucked behind him, seemingly concealing something. Then in an instant, TB pulled out a weapon and fired at T-Roy, who fell to the ground as chaos broke out in the shop.
I think at some point you take the picture in front of O-Block, in front of the King Von Bureau. So what was going on with all that?
Dirk told me to do that.
Dirk told you to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emergency responders quickly rushed to the scene, and T-Roy was taken to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he tragically passed away from his injuries. The news spread like wildfire across Chicago's rap and street circles.
It hit the community hard. Many rappers who were close to T-Roy poured out their emotions online. Lil Durk, Lil Reese, 600 Breezy, and Chief Keef all took to Twitter to express their heartbreak over losing someone they considered family. King Von, who was in prison at the time, facing serious charges, later shared during an Instagram Live that when his mother told him about T-Roy's death, he broke down crying, something he admitted he hadn't done in years. Even though Lil Durk has never been charged with any criminal activity, there's been tons of online speculation linking him to the tragic death of rapper FBG Cash. The rumors started flying after Cash continuously dissed Von, even going as far to disrespect Von's mural, something that didn't sit well with a lot of people close to O-Block. Not long after those incidents, Dirt posted a cryptic Instagram story that many fans believe was aimed directly at Cash. It read, "Be careful. Don't diss if you be lingering and chasing stuff. It won't end well." That post immediately sparked debates and theories across social media.
I just run up on KI and why I just ran up on them niggas and caught KI. She was the last one running out of the gate.
Then Durk dropped a track titled Computer Murderers, where he rapped, "Sneaking pics by Von mural like Lil Bro won't come out and spin." The line instantly caught attention. Fans couldn't help but connect it to FBG Cash's earlier actions. Not long after, rumors began spreading that Cash's death might have involved a setup by a woman. This fueled even more speculation that Von's crew may have had something to do with it, though none of this has ever been proven. People online claimed the message was clear. King Von's name was to be respected, even after his passing. The drama only added to the already heated rivalry between crews from different parts of Chicago, with social media turning every lyric and post into a coded message. Aside from Durk and T-Roy, King Von himself was one of the most talked about figures connected to O-Block, a neighborhood linked to the Black Disciples. O-Block isn't just known as a street, it became a symbol of loyalty, music, and survival in Chicago's rap scene. When King Von stepped into the rap game, he wasted no time making his presence felt. His music blew up fast, and once the money started rolling in, Von stayed loyal to his roots, taking care of his crew from O-Block. He even went as far as gifting some of them custom-made O-Block chains to show his love and appreciation for the people who had been with him from the start. To Von, O-Block wasn't just a crew.
You could even see that he was cuffed correct. You could see the marks from the cuffs on his arm.
It was family. Many of his closest friends from the neighborhood doubled as his personal security team. In an interview, his former manager, 100K Track, admitted that Von trusted the O-Block guys with his safety more than he trusted professional bodyguards. That bond was unbreakable. But that same loyalty also pulled his team into dangerous situations. Reports later suggested that 5 members connected to O-Block were facing serious legal trouble in connection to incidents surrounding Von's name. They were willing to ride for him no matter what. And that kind of loyalty made Von nearly untouchable in the industry. Rumors eventually started swirling that people tied to O-Block might have been involved in the tragic passing of Lil Pab, an associate of rapper Quando Rondo. The connection between Von and Rondo had been tense for a while, especially after Von's death. Many fans blamed Rondo for the situation that led to it, even though he wasn't the one who fired the fatal shots. Rondo later made things worse by dropping tracks that seemed to disrespect Von's name, stirring up more anger among Von's supporters. In an interview with All Around TV, Quando Rondo spoke on the threats and backlash he faced after Von's death.
And I'm just in my head like, damn, for real? And sure enough, after he told me that, sirens came.
Saying, "However they come at me, that's how I'm gonna move about it. Talk all you want, bro. That's just words, unless someone really takes action." His comments didn't sit well with fans or with people still mourning Von's loss. It only escalated the tension between the two camps. Even though Quando Rondo wasn't physically hurt in the ambush, reports made it clear that he was the main target that night. Sadly, one of his close friends from the entourage was hit during the attack. In a panic, the group loaded him into their black SUV and sped off, trying to get help as fast as possible. They only made it about a mile away to West Hollywood before police pulled them over after reports of gunfire nearby. Officers immediately jumped into action, performing CPR on the injured man, who was still breathing but unconscious. Footage showing Quando crying out in pain as his friend was pulled from the car quickly went viral across social media, breaking hearts everywhere. An ambulance rushed the victim to a local hospital, but despite doctors' efforts, he didn't make it. Quando later confirmed the victim's identity on Instagram, sharing an emotional post with a photo of them together and revealing that the man lost was his friend, Lil Pab. While no one from O Block ever claimed responsibility, online chatter quickly spread the theory that the ambush might have been connected to King Von's death.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim, towards the victim.
Especially since a similar rumor had surrounded the passing of FBG Cash. The streets began whispering that anyone who disrespected Von or crossed paths with his circle could end up facing serious consequences. That belief only fueled Von's legend. People saw him and his crew as dangerous, loyal, and fearless. With a team like that behind him, Von had a reputation that made even other rappers nervous. But this raises a major question. Was King Von really like the people around him? Was he truly as ruthless as his reputation suggested? Or was that just the image created by his environment and the stories told about him? After King Von's death, countless videos began circulating online, claiming to break down the violent history tied to his name. Many people started labeling him with extreme titles, even calling him a serial killer, a term that quickly went viral across social media. While Von's name has been linked to numerous shootings and street conflicts, federal investigators have reportedly confirmed his involvement in 3 major cases connected to Gakira Bonds, FBG Duck, and Alexander Weatherspoon. But before diving into those cases, it's important to understand another reason Von was feared: his hands. Unlike many rappers who relied solely on weapons, Von was known for using his fists and wasn't afraid to throw down if someone disrespected him. Whether behind bars or out on the streets,
Troy is one of those, like, he one of them type of, he wake up, eat, sleep, shit, this drill.
he carried himself like a fighter, ready to defend his name at any moment. Several clips floating around the internet show Von squaring up in intense confrontations. In one video reportedly filmed inside jail, Von is seen walking straight up to another inmate and starting a fist fight. The two exchange punches as others rush in to separate them. The energy was wild. Another clip that surfaced showed Von managing to slip out of his cuffs before charging at someone who had clearly gotten under his skin. In the footage, Von stands up quickly, takes a few steps toward his target, and the two begin struggling while still partially restrained. A few seconds later, Von completely frees his hands and swings at the other man, sending him stumbling backwards as chaos erupts around him. These moments only added to his reputation, showing that Von wasn't just feared because of weapons or street rumors, but because of his fearless nature. He had the kind of presence that demanded respect wherever he went. In the chaotic jail video, 2 other inmates eventually jumped in to help Von during the brawl. But before things could get completely out of control, the prison guards rushed in and broke it up. Still, the moment left everyone stunned. When the footage leaked online, fans weren't entirely shocked. Von already had a reputation for confronting his rivals head-on whenever he had the chance. But what really blew people's minds was how he managed to slip out of his cuffs in the first place. Even the guards watching were stunned, wondering how he pulled off something like that when the cuffs had been securely fastened.
If a motherfucker run up on me, I will shoot you. No problem. I will shoot you.
Later, rumors began to spread that the person Von attacked in that video was an inmate known as 051 Freaky. According to rapper Lil Reese, Von allegedly went after him because he had a controversial tattoo that showed disrespect toward another fallen rapper, L.A. Capone.
L.A. Capone had been an up-and-coming artist closely associated with Lil Durk and was seen as one of the next big names to rise out of Chicago. Tragically, on September 26, 2013, after leaving a recording studio around 6 p.m., Capone walked down the alley near 70th Street and Stony Island Avenue to find his car, but he was ambushed by someone later identified as Lil Mick, a member of the rival 051 Young Money crew. The attack took his life and sent shockwaves through the Chicago rap scene. That loss hit people like Von and Durk hard, and it fueled the tensions between rival neighborhoods even more. So when rumors surfaced about Freaky's tattoo mocking Capone, Von apparently took it personally, even while locked up. Tragically, the confrontation between King Von and Quando Rondo ended in gunfire, a moment that would ultimately claim Von's life just minutes later at the hospital. That night, everything was supposed to be a celebration. Von and his crew had flown from New York to Atlanta to attend his album release party at Opium nightclub, marking the success of his debut project, Welcome to O Block. After the party wrapped up, most of the group planned to head back to their rented Airbnb to wind down for the night. But Von had a change of plans. Instead of calling it a night, he decided to make a quick stop at Monaco Hookah Lounge, a popular late-night spot in the city. Once they pulled into the parking lot,
Shorty is a savage on hold. Another motherfucker that was fearless.
Vaughn waited inside his vehicle for his security team to check things out before going in. While they were still outside, one of Vaughn's friends suddenly told him that he had just spotted Quando Rondo nearby, sitting in the car. In that instant, emotions fled. Without hesitation, Vaughn stepped out of his vehicle and started walking in Rondo's direction. By that time, Quando had already exited his car and was headed toward the entrance of the club. Within seconds, Vaughn approached him and threw the first punch, knocking him down to the ground. Members of Vaughn's crew jumped in, and a chaotic fight broke out in the parking lot, punches flying everywhere as Quando tried desperately to get away. Then everything changed in the blink of an eye. One of Quando's associates, later identified as Lil Tim, came around from behind their vehicle holding a gun and opened fire. The scene erupted in panic as people scattered, ducking for cover. Vaughn was hit during the chaos and was quickly rushed to Grady Hospital in Atlanta, where doctors fought to save his life. Sadly, he passed away during surgery. The entire situation was caught on video and spread across the internet within hours, shocking the rap community and breaking the hearts of fans everywhere. Vaughn's fearless nature, the same attitude that made him a respected figure in Chicago's rap scene, ultimately played a part in the chain of events that led to his death. One of the most talked about cases linked to King Von was the killing of 17-year-old Akira Barnes.
Boy, just different, you know what I'm saying? He was a real enforcer.
A name that still stirs debate across Chicago to this day. Known online as K.I., she was infamous for her fierce reputation and for being one of the few young women feared in the city's gang scene. She was believed to be part of the Gangster Disciples, specifically the STL-EBT set, which had long-standing beef with O-Block and his allies. K.I. wasn't just known in the streets. She became an online figure too, openly posting about conflicts and even mocking rival losses on social media. After the death of Odie Perry, one of O-Block's most respected members, K.I. took to the internet and made several posts taunting his passing, even claiming responsibility in a joking tone. Rumors also spread that she had taken Odie's weapon and posted pictures with it, which only made tensions rise higher. Those posts hit O-Block hard, especially King Von, who took it personally. People who knew both of them said Von saw K.I. as more than just an enemy. It was a personal rivalry that kept escalating. While blogs later called her the female assassin, those close to her said she was much more complex, a young woman who, beneath the tough exterior, once dreamed of becoming a social worker and helping her community. Her mother described her as a sweet, caring daughter who got caught up in the wrong crowd. But all of that changed after tragedy struck in 2011. On January 12th of that year, one of Kanye's closest friends, Dale Gregory, better known as Tuka,
overly loved, his funeral was packed,
was waiting for a bus on the 600 block of East 63rd Street when he was fatally shot. His death sent shockwaves through the neighborhood and hit K.I. especially hard. From that moment, friends said something changed inside her. The loss of Tuka hardened her, and she started diving deeper into the street life, gaining a reputation for fearlessness and revenge. She started moving like someone with nothing to lose, respected by her peers and feared by her rivals. It didn't take long for Akira Barnes to build a fearsome reputation on Chicago's South Side. In the streets, she was often nicknamed Snoop, a reference to a cold-hearted character from the TV show The Wire, a name that reflected how seriously people took her. Word on the street was that by the time she was just 14, K.I. was already involved in multiple shootings, with rumors suggesting she could have been connected to as many as 20 cases. Whether those numbers were true or exaggerated, one thing was clear: her rivals feared her. Many in opposing neighborhoods saw K.I. as a constant threat and even referred to her as a pest because she always seemed to show up when tension flared. But her time in the streets came to a violent end on April 11, 2014. That afternoon, while she was walking with her brother, FBG Butter, and another friend, a hooded shooter approached them on the 6400 block of Eberhard Avenue and opened fire. K.I. was struck multiple times in the upper body and face before running toward a neighbor's home where she collapsed on a neighbor's doorstep. Paramedics arrived quickly and rushed to the Northwestern Memorial Hospital, but sadly, she didn't survive her injuries. Her brother and friend were both wounded, but lived, leading police to believe that K.I. had been the main target of the ambush. Shortly after the attack, King Von was arrested in connection with the shooting after eyewitnesses allegedly identified him as a possible suspect. However, investigators couldn't find enough solid evidence to press charges, and the case was eventually dropped. Police cited the lack of reliable proof and the unwillingness of witnesses to testify as key reasons for the dismissal. For For years, the case remained open, filled with rumors, online debates, and speculation. But after Von's own death in 2020, leaked police reports began circulating online, claiming that investigators had privately concluded that Von was likely responsible for K.I.'s death. According to those reports, the shooter that day was described as wearing a gray hoodie and blue jeans, clothing that some said matched Von's style at the time. According to official reports, the shooter walked up to the 3 victims, pulled out a weapon, and opened fire, hitting all 3 before jumping into a nearby car and speeding off. That day would go down as one of the most talked about events in Chicago's drill history, the day K.I. lost to life.
So that shit changed, T-Roy. That shit changed, T-Roy.
Jay Hood, a former O-Block member and one of King Von's close friends at the time, later shared his side of the story. He claimed that Von personally told him about what happened after K.I. was killed. According to Jay Hood, Von admitted to shooting 3 people that day, saying that K.I. was the last one he hit. Moments later, Jay said he heard sirens blaring in the distance, police already racing toward the scene. However, K.I.'s brother, FBG Butter, who was there when it all happened, completely denied those claims. He insisted that Von had nothing to do with his sister's death and dismissed the stories being spread online as false. But things took a new turn years later. In 2023, previously unseen police documents surfaced, allegedly showing that FBG Butter had privately told investigators that Von was the person responsible. According to one section of the report, a cooperator identified as Cooperator 3 was quoted saying they saw O-Block member Devon Bennett, King Von's real name, shoot Gakara Barnes. The release of those files reignited conversations about Von's street past, confirming to some what they already believed, that Von's reputation wasn't just built on rumors. Still, the case remained officially unresolved since Von had already passed away by then, meaning he never faced trial for it. But that wasn't the only case later connected to the late rapper. Another high-profile tragedy, the killing of Chicago rapper Carlton Weekly, better known as FBG Duck, was also tied to Von's circle. On August 4, 2020, Duck was shot multiple times in broad daylight near Michigan Avenue and East Oak Street.
Whatever the biggest gun is, Troy got.
In the upscale Gold Coast neighborhood, one of Chicago's busiest shopping districts. The boldness of the attack made it clear this wasn't random. It was a targeted hit. Within months, 5 individuals associated with O-Block were arrested in connection with the case. Authorities believed the motive was retaliation for Duck's ongoing beef with Von and others from their neighborhood. On October 13, 2020, federal agents hit O-Block with a major raid and took 5 men into custody in connection with the FBG Duck Case. The individuals named were Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, Kenneth Robeson, aka Kenny Mack, Carlos Offord, aka Los, Christopher Thomas, aka C-Thing, and Marcus Smart, aka Muwab. They were all charged with serious federal offenses, including racketeering, illegal weapon activity, and participating in a coordinated street operation. These charges came with heavy consequences, the kind that carried mandatory life sentences if convicted, and there was even talk that prosecutors could push for the harshest penalty allowed by the law. During the investigation, federal documents revealed something even wilder. An informant claimed that someone had offered a $50,000 payout to have Duck targeted. When nobody stepped up, that same person allegedly raised the payout to $100,000, showing just how serious the situation had become. Someone from O-Block was reportedly willing to drop 6 figures to get the job done, and that detail immediately caught everyone's attention. At that time, King Von was blowing up in the industry and was one of the few from O-Block who had access to that kind of money. The informant didn't name names, but they did tell investigators that whoever ordered the hit later rewarded the crew with custom-made O-Block chains, a detail that made the internet go crazy. Fans quickly pointed to a viral YouTube video showing Von gifting his O-Block brothers iced-out chains, the exact type of chains the informant described. This instantly made people think the mystery figure could have been Von, especially since he was the only one who had recently leveled up financially thanks to his music career. Internet detectives didn't stop there. They dug even deeper. Soon after, online sleuths began claiming that the informant mentioned in the paperwork was actually Von's own younger brother, Louis V. That rumor spread fast, with people online arguing about whether the documents were real and what they meant for Von's legacy. Even though none of this was ever proven in court, the timing, the chains, and the whispers from witnesses created a storyline that the streets couldn't ignore. The whole situation showed how intense the Chicago scene had become, with loyalty, revenge, fame, and street politics all tangled together in a way that kept fans glued to every update. Federal documents later revealed that the cooperating witness had been arrested on August 17, 2020 for unlawful weapon possession. When people started comparing the details, fans noticed something shocking. No one else from O Block or close to Von had been arrested on that same day for that same charge. That left only one person matching the description: Von's younger brother, Louis V. Because he was close to Von and knew the people around him, many believed he could have had inside knowledge about any plans involving FBG Duck. The rumor alone added a whole new layer to Von's already intense reputation. Suddenly, people were saying Von wasn't just feared for his hands or his crew, they claimed he could put a money on someone's head if he really wanted to. But there was one person who survived a run-in with Von and lived to talk about it, a man named Alexander Weatherspoon. On February 5, 2019, chaos broke out in the parking lot of the Varsity, a well-known restaurant in Midtown. Shots were fired and police arrived within minutes to find a 23-year-old man injured near a parked car. The victim, identified as Weatherspoon, had been hit in the leg. Witnesses told officers that they saw an SUV speeding away from the scene, a vehicle with 300 printed on the side. That detail tied the incident to a crew associated with King Von and his circle. As per reports, the attackers didn't just shoot Weatherspoon, they also took a gold chain, around $30,000 in cash, and even his vehicle before speeding off. The case unfolded over the next few months, and investigators eventually arrested 3 suspects believed to be connected to the incident. The people tied to the Atlanta case were King Von, Little Durk, and Bezu. What had everyone talking was the fact that Little Durk was treated as the main suspect at the time. Court documents showed he was facing 5 major charges, including attempted murder, aggravated assault, involvement in a criminal group, having a firearm during a felony, and possessing a firearm as someone who legally couldn't carry one. Investigators even claimed they had footage showing Durk firing toward Alexander Weatherspoon, which made the case explode online. But after Von passed away, everything shifted. All charges against Durk were dropped. And then came the biggest twist of all. DA Fannie Willis released a statement saying that if Devon Bennett, King Von, had still been alive in 2020, he would have been indicted for the incident. According to the DA's office, Von was the one who shot Weatherspoon that night. Another detail that heated things up was that Weatherspoon was reportedly affiliated with the Vice Lords, meaning he was seen as a rival. Von was known for confronting rivals head-on, something people around him often talked about. When you look at Von's background, the people he grew up around, and the high-pressure environment he lived in, it becomes clear why he developed such a fierce, fearless reputation. His presence alone made people nervous, and his name carried weight both in the streets and in the music world. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into stories the internet can't stop talking about, make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more wild stories and street smart breakdowns coming your way.